This is the plaintiff, Marshall Ledwick. He says he hired the defendant to do some electrical work on his house after Hurricane Sandy, and the inept guy totally botched the job. Now his dishwasher doesn't run properly, his outside lights don't work, and he had to pay another electrician to fix the job correctly. Bottom line, he did a subpar job, and he's suing him for the $5,000 it cost him to have the job done right. This is the defendant, Joseph Striano. He says the plaintiff was quoted a price and then tried adding all these things onto the job for free. That's right. The guy's a mooch. There's no way he's going to pay him $5,000 he paid another company to do all this extra work. And he's pretty confident the judge is going to see things his way today in court. He's accused of shorting out.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Marshall Ledwick, you are suing North Electric LLC, represented here by Joseph Striano. You're the owner?
Yes.
Okay, for $5,000. According to you, your damages are even more than that, that you had to shell out because, according to you, they did subpar work. Tell me what happened.
Our house was impacted by Superstorm Sandy, at which point we decided to elevate our home. Amongst the contractors that I hired was one North Electric. A fellow came to the house and looked at our house and told us that he would charge us $4,300 to disconnect all the electrical wires, rehook them up, and file with the town.
Okay, do you have a contract with him?
I have a, right here.
Let me see that. And also, explain what you mean when you say we decided to elevate the house.
We live on the water.
Right?
And they raise the house.
How is that done?
They dig a big trench around the house, and then they put these gigantic I-beams underneath the house, and they jack the house up with hydraulic jacks. And it lifted up about 10 feet.
And then what do they do underneath that?
Then underneath, what they do is they destroy or demolish the existing foundation and floor, and then they put in new footings and new walls and floor. And they raise it about 5 feet, I guess, and then they lower the house down onto it.
So your house ends up being how much higher than it was?
About 5 feet.
Okay. So how much did you pay for all that?
Well, the whole thing, a little under $200,000.
And does that come out of FEMA's pocket?
And about $118,000.
Okay. Now, what did he do wrong? Why are you suing him? What went wrong?
Well, originally, he was going to do all of that work and file.
No, okay, so he was going to do all what work? The deal was
the
disconnection and reconnection of all electrical circuitry, service panel meter with disconnect.
Right.
All work to be filed, service inspection.
Right.
Okay, so he unhooks everything. The house gets jacked
the house
up.
gets up in the air. And now he said to me, well, he saw some other things. He needed an additional $1,200.
For what? What were the other things?
Electrical problems.
Right. What specifically? You don't remember?
He didn't itemize it. The air conditioning units, because when they lift the house up, they put these big girders underneath, and I guess it does something. They dislocate wires.
Okay. So he said, there's been some damage in the process, and I need to get paid more money.
I don't know
what
if
is it
you
said?
Process.
What is it you said, sir?
John,
come on up.
you want to explain it, please?
Yes, I'm actually the electrician that did the work.
Great.
How are you?
Great.
The $1,200 was discussed for additional work that needed to be done. His dock lighting.
Okay, but what to the dock lighting? To do what?
New power lines to go out to the dock lighting.
So these aren't power lines that you disconnected?
No.
Okay, so is that accurate? New power lines?
No.
No what? It's
no, ma'am.
Did you have power lines previously going out into the dock?
Yes, ma'am.
So were you trying to upgrade the power lines?
No. When they lift the house, the cables come from the house out to the dock. They had to disconnect them somehow because the house is elevated 10 feet up in the air.
The equipment,
you don't have any feet going.
Right, but don't you expect that to happen when you give the quote? Like, why would it be
Yeah, no.
$1,200 more? If I'm a homeowner and I'm planning my project out, you know the house is going to get lifted 5 feet. So don't you include that in your quote?
It wasn't so much the house being lifted as it was the heavy equipment tearing up the backyard, digging trenches, and removing dockage, walkways that went out to the dock itself, which was after the fact that the house was lifted. So it really had nothing to do with the
So
actual
What was the new work, though, then? What did you...
re-energizing the dock, the lighting on the dock, the shed in the backyard, 2 air handlers in the
No,
basement.
slow down. The shed in the backyard, did that not have power to it?
And not when he came to bring it to my attention, no.
It has electricity in it for the last 30 years.
Okay, and then what else?
Well, it wasn't when he brought it to my attention. 2 air handlers in the basement, 2 air condensers.
Hold on. Did the air handlers in the basement have power to them beforehand?
Yes, ma'am.
See, that's the thing. See, I'm not understanding because
The air
that
hand-
is precisely what you're hired for, to disconnect and then reconnect. If reconnect means you have to lay cable, then you lay cable. What
No,
on earth would it otherwise mean? So what on earth, I'm going to ask you, because you're the litigant, Mr. Striano, what does reconnect mean?
Connect the wires that we disconnected from the panel. Extend them to the proper, well, the whole panel got relocated. That was part of the project. The meter pan was put in one spot, and then, due to the circumstances, the panel had to be relocated to another part of the building.
But according to him, that wasn't even done right. That failed inspection, correct? Why?
The panel had to be raised, I think, 2 or 3 feet because the house was lifted, and it wanted to be lifted above the flood zone.
Right. And what happened there?
Well, okay, the general contractor who we relied on told us what the height of the Dunham plane would be, and we installed...
Height of the what?
Dunham plane,
Dunham
which
plane.
is
What's a Dunham
the flood
plane?
level.
Flood level.
the highest water in 100 years. It's called the Dunham plane. So then he informed us to where that was, but unfortunately misinformed us.
Okay,
So the panel got put too low and it needed to be...
but that's on you.
Well,
Can I
that's
just say
not true.
Or you can sue the general contractor for misinforming you. You can do your own thing. But the homeowner who pays you to do it expects that the electricians will know where
And
to put
it-
it. All right, so according to you, they ask you for $1,200 more. You think it's unfair and wrong, and so what do you do?
Well, I gave him the money, and now when the house is down, now I knew I got hoodwinked. So now when the house is
Where's the
down,
contract that discusses the additional $1,200?
Where is that?
There was
Why
no
don't you know
contract.
what's going on? Did you sub this to him?
No,
No.
we're in,
He's an employee, he's a partner, what is he to
He's an
you?
employee.
Okay, so where is the other $1,200 that he got from the homeowner? Have you ever seen that?
No,
Ooh, why don't you tell us?
I've not seen it.
there is no $1,200.
There is no $1,200.
The agreement was for the disconnection of power.
Do you
The
hear my
raising of-
question? I have a very specific question. Do you have proof you paid an additional $1,200 above and beyond the $4,300? Is that what you are saying, sir?
I have
Is that
all of
what
this-
you are saying, that you paid $4,300 and then you paid an additional $1,200?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, show me the proof that you paid that much money, because
show me
Mr.
the
North
proof
Electric
you see.
never saw the other
No, I
$1,200.
never saw the other $1,200.
Is that, what's the deal, sir?
I'm sorry.
Curious to see what he's
I'm curious to
submitting.
see what he's submitting myself.
2,000, 3,000, 5,500. Yeah, the original contract on February 1st is for $4,300. But what he ends up paying is $5,500. So he paid you the other $1,200. So where's the rest of the money? Did you not give it to him?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So what does the judge do? Throw him out of court or give a fair price to the guy who did the work?
I'd say give him a fair price. I mean, he's done the work, so he needs to be paid for
But
it.
he screwed up the contract, right?
No, but I think the judge can still come up with a reasonable price.
But is the judge supposed to be making contracts for people?
No, but at the same time, he might be able to find a third party that knows the work.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
The service, the disconnect, reconnect, and the electrical service upgrade was in the agreed price of $5,500. If you look at the receipt, it says on it $5,500 electrical service.
Is this your original contract with him that has the 2 signatures?
Disconnect, reconnect, and service.
Yeah, what's the total?
$4,300 with
Right,
$1,000
so the guy
down.
pays you $5,500. Sounds to me like he paid you the other $1,200.
It wasn't for additional work. It wasn't. It was for
Well, then
the
why does
balance
he
of the
pay you
service.
a red cent over 4,300?
He didn't.
If it's not,
That's
oh, I
why-
have the checks there.
That's why the work
No, he
wasn't
paid
completed.
5,500, and you've said that
For the
3
service.
times.
For the electrical service, disconnect, reconnect, and the electrical service upgrade. Not for additional work for air handlers that didn't exist prior
Okay,
to.
you need to reconnect.
Right.
That's what needs to happen.
Okay.
Then what happens, sir? What happens?
Then
How
I-
does everything go into the toilet?
Well, then I had to hire another firm, and I believe I gave you those papers,
And why did you have to hire another firm?
because I was not going to pay him any additional money, and he hoodwinked me. He said that he was going to do everything for $4,300. The excuse is his grandmother died.
Then it was, if you give me another 1,200, I'll do everything. And then it's more money over that 1,200.
Yes, ma'am.
And you never saw that 1,200. That's so interesting. Do you have, these are the bank statements that show that. Who's John Pellegrino?
That would be me.
Oh, they're going right into your pocket. The money's going directly into his pocket as an employee?
It's a 1099 partnership, actually.
So is he your employee or isn't he your employee? So I want you to know, I want you to know that North Electric got 1,000,
Right.
and then he got 4,500.
Which pays for the material and the payroll.
Okay, but you know this?
Of course.
Okay, so then that's 5,500 that the homeowner paid. You kept denying that he'd paid an additional 1,200 over the original contract, but he did. It's right here in black and white. He paid the additional 1,200. So how much more is the guy supposed to pay in hidden costs? So now you end up sick of being extorted, and you hire another firm, which is whom? Who did you hire?
Sure
Can I
Power.
please see their?
I think I gave, here.
I know.
In June is when you hire Shore Power, and you pay them a total of what?
$4,200, I think it is.
Your opinion of this is that this is extra work beyond what he already paid extra for. But can I just see your contract with him for what the other $1,200 above the $4,300 would be for?
There is no contract.
There's no written contract.
No, there is no written contract.
No written contract. What say you was the $1,200 for?
2 air handlers that were non-existent prior to the house being lifted. 2 condenser units that were relocated prior to the house being lifted. Dock lighting, shed power, relocation of oil burner circuitry.
What else?
That was pretty much it.
All right, so now, when do you find out that where they've put the panel is the wrong place? Because it failed inspection?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have to pay somebody else to move the panel?
Yeah, Shore Panel.
You
Shore
paid them
Power.
to do it. Fix outdoor outlet at rear deck. Install weatherproof GFCI with a use cover, with in-use cover.
Those are
The covers for the outlets outside.
No, I know what it is, but how is that included in the original contract? Install 6 outdoor wall lights supplied by customer. How is that included in the original contract?
not.
When I spoke to him, he said he would take care of everything that I showed him that had to be done. I don't know exactly everything.
I know, and that is your misfortune, because now I'm going to guess. Because if you don't have a written contract for everything else that had to be done, and he doesn't have a written contract for everything else that had to be done, I'm going to have the two of you in a war about what it is that has to be done, and I've got to use my best common sense, which I have in spades, to figure out what it is that could possibly have been in the non-existent written contract between you two based on recreating the circumstances. And let me tell you one thing I know wasn't in that contract. Install 6 outdoor wall lights.
No,
and I know that because you wouldn't have been complaining about that, because you were complaining that the $1,200 was an extortion, and it wouldn't have been if it was new, if it included new stuff. So frankly, I wouldn't believe either one of you if your tongues came notarized. So now I would like everybody to just stop talking. Based on what I have looked at, what appears to me to be new stuff, what appears to me to not be new stuff, what appears to me to possibly have been included in the contract, part of which is in writing, part of which isn't, I am ruling in favor of the plaintiff, but not in the amount that you're suing for. I am ruling in your favor in the amount of $2,000. Verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
Well, the plaintiff is awarded a $2,000 judgment. Mr. Striano is, if you'll step right over there, sir. As the judge said, the two of you have to get reconnected again.
Yes, exactly.
You okay?
Fine.
Okay.
Fine, thank you.
I'm sorry, but you lost the case, okay?
That's
Cost you
perfectly okay.
$2,000.
It was fair.
It was fair?
It was a fair
I'm
judgment.
glad you feel that way. Good enough. You lost, but you're leaving happy.
Yes.
That's good. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, the plaintiff, Mr. Ludwig, is on his way out of the courtroom. You know, the judge was having problems with you, too. But anyway, how do you feel about the fact that you were suing for $5,000, you got $2,000? Step this way, okay?
How do I
Thanks.
feel? I don't think justice was served
Why not?
because he didn't do the work, and I had to pay somebody additional money, almost $5,000.
You didn't have enough proof, though, to convince the judge of what you were trying to get. That was your problem. Okay.
It's just some poor old guy.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry about it. At least you got something. All right. Harvey, contracts are so important, right?
Yeah, Doug, contracts are super important, but sometimes when they're not done properly, the judge can do exactly what these guys said, which is to award the reasonable value of the services that are actually rendered when they tried to make a contract. In the law, it's called quantum meruit. Fancy legal term so I can justify the tuition that I paid in law school.